All right, welcome back, Math 85 students. Dr. McGathy here. We will now be working on ordering decimals and also rounding decimals. And these ideas should sound very in line with what we've done with whole numbers and fractions. Okay, so to order decimal, the main idea is really to write both decimals with a common denominator. And so it sounds weird to say common denominator because we're talking about decimals and not fractions, but as we've seen before, every decimal actually can be written as a fraction. So that's how we can think of them. So here's what I mean by that. Let's compare the number 0.04 and 0.40. So remember 0.40, this also, you don't need that extra zero at the end because this is 40 hundredths, which is the same as 4 tenths or 0.4. So 0.4 can be written as 4 tenths. Multiply numerator and denominator by 10 gives you 40 hundredths. So these are the same numbers. That means that this number 0.40 and 0.4 really represent the same quantity. So if I wanted to compare 0.04 and 0.4, what you would want to do is to make sure that the two numbers have a common denominator. So again, this number is 4 ending in the hundredths place, and this number here is 4 ending in the tenths place. Notice that their denominators are different. That can be seen by looking at the decimal and counting how many places are to the right of the decimal point. This one only has one place to the right of the decimal point. This one has 2 places to the right of the decimal point. So in order to compare these two decimals, you'll want to rewrite 4 tenths as 40 over 100, or 0.40. And now it's easy to compare these two because they have the same denominator, so you can just go ahead and compare the numerators. Which one's bigger, 4 or 40? 40 is bigger, so that tells you that 0.04, which was 4 hundredths, is less than 0.40, or 40 hundredths. So again, you want to have the same number of places after the decimal point, and then you can just compare basically the numerator. So look at just the whole number, regardless of the decimal point, which is bigger, 4 or 40. 40 is bigger, so 40 hundredths is bigger than 4 hundredths. All right, let's take a look at these next examples. 0.64 and 0.6, which one is bigger? So this one has 2 places to the right of the decimal. This one only has 1 place to the right of the decimal. So what you'll do is append a 0 to write this. Again, 6.64 is the same as 64 hundredths, and 0.6 can be written as 6 tenths. So again, notice they don't have the same denominator. So what I'll do, keep the 64 hundredths, but rewrite this by multiplying both numerator and denominator by 10, which gives you 60 over 100. So now that they're in this form, 64 is greater than 60, so you have this relationship. Okay, and again, you don't have to write everything as a decimal. The shortcut to doing this is looking at the decimal numbers. I've got 2 places here, only 1 place here. So I can add a 0 to the end, which is the same as saying like multiply top and bottom by 10. Add a 0 to the end, and now you can just compare 64 and 60. 64 is larger. All right, let's do this one. 0.83 and 0.803. Again, so many people are tricked into thinking like, oh, 803 is greater than 83, so 803, 0.803 should be bigger. However, we can't really compare these two because they don't have the same denominator. So what we do, again, make this is 83 over 100. This is 803 over 1,000. So let's multiply the top and bottom of this. Again, you don't have to always write these fractions out, but I think it helps to understand. This is 83 over 100. This is 803 over 1,000. they don't have the same denominator, so you'll multiply both by 10. 830 over 1,000, and this is 803 over 1,000. And again, the shortcut for this is just to add a 0 so that you have the same number of digits after the decimal point. All right, so now you can just compare those two numbers, 830 and 803. 830, 803. Which one's bigger? 830. All right, and last one here, negative. So notice with our negatives, the order of the order on the number line is reversed. So negative 0.1 and negative 0.8. So we need to make sure that we understand where these numbers are on the number line. Let me draw a picture. They're both in between 0 and negative 1. So here's 0, negative 1. And let's remember that we chop the number line up into 10 equal sized pieces because the denominator here is 10. Negative 0.1 is negative 1/10. Negative 0.8 is negative 8/10. So here is negative 0.1 is right here. Negative 0.2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here is negative 0.8. Okay, so even though we know if the negatives weren't there, 0.1 and 0.8, 1/10 and 8/10, 8/10 would be bigger. When we look on the other side of 0 to the negative numbers, when you negate both sides, this inequality sort of reverses so that now negative 0.1 is further to the right on the number line. So that one is larger. So again, notice that if these were positive numbers, this would be the inequality. But since they're negative, it's reversed or reflected. All right, so now that we know how to order decimals and we're getting comfortable with what's happening on the number line, let's go ahead and talk about rounding decimals. Okay, there's going to be two methods to rounding decimals, and these are the methods that we've seen before with fractions and with whole numbers. First method is to use the number line to locate the nearest round number to our number, and method 2 would be to follow this like looking at the next digit, where you locate the place value and you mark it somehow. Then you look to the digit just to the right of that place value. If it's 5 or more, you score, meaning add 1 to that digit and ignore everything to the right. If it's less than 5, so if it's 4 or less, then it stays the same. So you keep the digit in that place value and everything after it is 0. So let's do an example where we follow these methods. Let's look at the number 18 and 379 thousandths. And let's first round it to the nearest hundredth, okay? So let's rewrite the number 18 and 379 thousandths. So first we have to locate the hundredths place. So this is the tenths place, hundredths place. So the 7 is in the hundredths place here. Let me draw the number line and see if I can locate where this number is on the number line. First thing to do is to locate the two round numbers that like end in the hundredths place that are right around my number, 18.379. So the closest hundredth that's less than this number is 18 and 37 hundredths. And the closest hundredth that's larger than my number is 18 and 38 hundredths. So where is my number? 18 and 379 thousandths. So imagine this is 18.370 and this is 18.380. And so 370, 380 thousandths. So where is 379 thousandths? Well, it's much closer to 380 than it is to 370. So my number is right here, so I will bump the number up. So the rounded version of my number is 18 and 38 hundredths. So this is using method number 1, or the number line method. Now let's use method number 2. Step 1 is locate the place that we want to round to and then mark it somehow. So I've got 18 and 379,000. So let's locate that place. Step 2 is look at the digit just to the right of that given place value. So here's the place I want to round it to, and I'm looking at the number just to the right of it. Okay. Step 3, you ask yourself, is the digit greater than or equal to 5? Yes. 9 is greater than or equal to 5. So we add 1 to the place value that we are rounding to. So now we have the number 18.3. The 9 bumps the 7 up to an 8. And everything after it is a 0. And then notice you don't even have to write the 0. So really 18.38. Okay? We get the same answer, whatever method we use. So this is using the number line method. Here's using the that other algorithm. All right, let's do the same thing, only let's round this number to the nearest tenths place. Okay, so 18 and 379 thousandths. We're going to round to the nearest tenths. So that's this digit in this place. All right, using the number line method, we will locate numbers that are just smaller than or just larger than my number that end in the tenths place. So I have here 18 and 3/10, and then 18 and 4/10. And so again, this is like 18.300, and this is like 18.400 thousandths. So where is 18 and 379 thousandths? So basically we're looking at where is the number 379 related to 300 and 400? Well, here's 350, which is halfway. 379 is like maybe right about here. Here's where my number is. And that is much closer to 18.4 than it is to 18.3. So I know my number should round to 18.4. Or we can follow these steps where we look at the number 18 and 379 thousandths, locate the tenths place, and consider the digit just to the right of it. So 7 is greater than or equal to 5. So add 1 to the tenths place. So we get that rounds my number to 18.4. And then you can always check, does my number end in the place that I'm rounding to? Yes, it ends in the tenths place. And then also, we get the same answer no matter what method we use. All right, last example. Let's round this number to the nearest whole number. So I've got 18.379. On the number line, the nearest whole numbers are 18 and 19. So here's 18, here's 19, and this is like 18 point, 0, 19.0. Okay, so where is 379? Well, 18.500 would be right in the middle. So 379 is probably right about here. So it looks like I'm going to round my number down to 18. Let's look at that with the other method, 18.379. If I'm rounding to the nearest whole number, that's the ones place. Consider the digit just to the right of it. It's less than 5, so that rounds me down, which means I keep this digit the same. Same answer. whatever method you use.